everyone. Welcome to Hudson Valley Tarot YouTube channel. I am Amy and I thank you for joining me. This is the second video in what I'm calling my Tarot Biz Journey videos. And the videos are all about what I've learned and went through to create my online tarot business over the past year. And this second video is all about finding a mentor. There are lots of courses out there and things you can take, but working with a mentor has been really helpful for me. And I still have meet with my mentor once a month to talk about where I am in building my business. So it's been one of the best investments I've made in myself, in my business since I started. So I highly recommend, if you can afford it, that you find someone that can mentor you and help you get started building your business. If you can't afford it, there are some free things out there where, tarot professional groups on Facebook that you can join and such. But this video, I am going to introduce you to the person I've been working with over the past year. Her name is Cooley. Kim is originally from Northern California and has recently relocated to the Dominican Republic. She gave up her full-time job as an analyst and decided to go full-time pro, doing tarot readings and also being a tarot mentor slash coach and helping people build their businesses and even up their game as a reader. So Kim is the owner of the online company called Abundant Life Tarot, and she is a tarot content creator. You might be familiar with her YouTube channel, also called Abundant Life Tarot. And on her channel, she highlights a lot of her diverse tarot deck and oracle deck collection, which I enjoy watching. But she also gives a lot of tips on how to read tarot and oracle cards. Kim is such a kind and authentic voice. She has so much to give, and she has been 100% devoted to giving me the best advice and helping me build a business that fulfills me and works for me. So I asked Kim to join me and share, some of her story with you, and I hope you find it useful. All of Kim's information is down below, so you can check her out, and I really hope you enjoy the interview. Hey, Kim.
Hi, Amy.
Thanks for coming. I really am excited about this because you have been such a huge help and inspiration for me over this past year. And I'm really, really happy and thrilled that you're willing to come here and talk on my channel. So thank you.
Oh my goodness. I am so happy and honored to be here. I've been enjoying getting to know you, and thank you for having me on
Likewise.
your channel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So now tell me about yourself and how you started divining, because you talked to me about this and I thought it was so cool how you got started.
Oh, let's see. So, quick little backstory. Both of my parents are from Mississippi. They're high school sweethearts. So, they relocated to California, but growing up, we would do these road trips in the summertime. And I've been divining for probably my whole life, but I didn't have any set systems. Like I would have little premonitions and things and little weird things that I thought was part of my imagination. But when I really started like doing my own little system, I was probably like 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And we would drive back and forth from California to Mississippi, stay 3 weeks as a family, or they would drop me off and I'd stay for the whole summer. And then we drive back, and I collected postcards.
Mm.
And I had nothing better to do on long road trips during daylight hours as we were driving, but to look at all the postcards I collected. I had amassed a lot of, did I say, I hope I said postcards.
Yeah.
Did I say, okay, good. Because I was like, it feels like I'm saying decks. I've always said, I've been collecting decks forever, but no, it's postcards. And I never sent those postcards anywhere. I kept them and I would ask questions and then look at the card pictures as a kid.
Wow.
I specifically remember New Mexico. I had a postcard with a big jackrabbit. It was like this superimposed jackrabbit in this crazy campy scene, like outside of like it was super, I don't know. But I would look at it and study it and just ponder, look. So fast forward to now, it makes total sense why I love
Oracle.
cards. I love the oracle. I love to ask a question and then say, what are the clues? What's coming through? What can I see that sparks something in my mind and take it off into a different direction? But I was blessed to live in a household that my parents allowed me the freedom to learn astrology. I was into bibliomancy. I was in cartomancy. I love tarot and I love oracle, but they gave me that freedom, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I have to
that's
ask,
how my love of cards.
do you still have your postcards?
At my parents' house, there's a couple because my parents never ever throw anything away. Never. So I have a chest of some of my little keepsakes from over the years in my parents' home. And I'm pretty sure there's a couple. I'm hoping it's the one with the superimposed jackrabbit next to a little small man
Oh,
outside of a camping motel picture.
that's funny.
There's no rhyme or reason why I picked all those postcards. So
You know
there's
what I
probably a
keep
couple.
thinking? I keep thinking, thank goodness we were born before the technical age, because you would have never collected postcards. You would have just had an iPad to keep you busy in the back seat, right?
Exactly. I was thinking about the postcards thing, like that is that like a lost art form where they got postcards and send them off. I know my daughter's grandmother, my mother-in-law, she sometimes sends postcards, but she's so old-fashioned. I just feel like most people send text messages, pictures, post stuff on social media about their trips. Whereas back in the day, we had Polaroids and 35 millimeters and postcards
And
and memories.
and you didn't get your pictures right away, right? You had to mail them out and wait for them to come back and see how they turned out, right?
Exactly.
Pray your eyes were open. Oh my goodness.
So,
Well, I know I do write letters still. I love writing letters. And I also, handwrite in my tarot journal. I don't digital journal or anything like that. I really love to write. I think it's a sacred act. So,
too, it is a sacred act. I love that you handwrite it. There's something not knocking digital
no,
journals; those they're amazing, but they scratch a different part of our
brain.
psychic or psyche or
Yeah.
whatever. And writing is sacred.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. I love it. So you have a tarot practice. Tell me, like, everybody is so different. Like, even you and I, our reading styles are very different. So, like, tell me your philosophy about reading. I'm going to say tarot, but really for you, it's the cards because you read Oracle and tarot. What's your
Yes.
philosophy around that?
Let's see. My philosophy is that it starts with I feel like I'm an energetic forecaster.
I love
And
that.
yeah, like we're picking up on the energies. Like, you know how meteorologists, they are doing a 7 to 10 day forecast. Some locales, you only get a short window of time for as accurate as you could possibly be based on the current conditions. We do that on an energetic level, is how I believe. and we're picking it up and we're looking at it, based on the time frame that you're asking spirit to give us this information. And I use the cards to help me navigate that. With that being said, there's free will.
Mm.
Just like you could forecast something 7 days out and it looked one way, there's a storm that bounces off some jet stream somewhere, right? And then
Right.
it's coming this way. And so it changes things.
Mm-hmm.
We're always at free will. We're always moving and changing. So I use the oracle and the tarot to help inform me with timing, with card meanings. Like some people do not divine for timing. I do, knowing that I'm an energetic forecaster. Are we going to always get it right? No.
Mm-hmm.
But this is something I enjoy doing. I look at, and I just like to work with lots of different cards that talk to one another. The tarot and oracle talk to each other and inform me about what's coming up in the future, what's happened in the past, what's happening now.
Yeah.
And that's my philosophy.
Cool. I love
in
that.
In a nutshell.
I love that. I think that's so cool. I love how you say it's like a forecast, because you're so correct. Just curious, like what do you use? Do you have a system you use for like timing, or do you say like pentacles are winter? Do you go by the decans, or is there like a system you use to tell timing with the tarot?
Great question. So in terms of timing, I do use my tarot typically, unless my oracle deck says, I have an oracle deck that has May is of importance or April is of importance. But I rarely use oracle. It's usually tarot. The system is the majors all have their astrological date associations. So that's what I typically go for majors. If it comes up and I'm shuffling and the card jumps out to a timing question, it's a major. Let's say if the star jumps, I'll say that's the season of Aquarius. January 22nd or 21st to February something, right?
Good season, right? Season of Aquarius.
Yes. We're just now entering Pisces. I'm a little sad, but that's okay. I'm an Aquarius, so I'm certainly biased. But the minors, I assign timing and seasons to the minors. So let's say the Ace of Pentacles jumps. For me, that would represent 1 year. Ace is 1. Pentacles for me is years. And the season is autumn. Wands for me is spring. Cups is summer, and Swords is winter.
Okay.
And I use, So, and then if I'm like, I need more refinement, I use my divinatory dice that I made. So I have, I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, you made these?
Yes.
Oh, that's so great. Do you sell them? I know you sell some of your oracle
people
decks.
keep asking me.
Well, there's your sign.
Yes, this is a sign. So it'll say 2 weeks. Something's, so
that's great.
Yes, no, definitely. And so I made these for that purpose as well.
That's
but
a
most
great
times
idea.
I just use tarot. Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
All right. So let's talk about like starting the business, because one of the first things you really have to do, if you ask me, because I know you and I talked about this a lot when I first started, is one of the first things I had to decide was what kind of readings I want to give and what my style is.
Yes.
And I hemmed and hawed because I didn't want to do love readings. And I am doing them now. I put them up for Valentine's Day, and I think I'm just going to leave them up there. I'm just so torn, and we talked about this. I'm torn because love is so important. I totally respect those young or anybody that's,
Sure.
looking for love or needs confirmation, because it's one of the most important decisions we make. It only makes sense that it's one of the most popular questions. It's just, it
True.
also brings in a lot of people that I didn't really want to read for. But so, like, what do you like? What are your thoughts about that? I mean, is it important? Should you just like throw up something like, Celtic cross or number of cards and leave the topic to the querent, or should you sell based on type of reading?
That is a great question because first and foremost, I think with Etsy, if we're talking about our Etsy shops, is sometimes querents get overwhelmed with a lot of options, like reading options. They don't know which one to choose. So it may be best to have a general type reading. You could ask, any kind of questions for either a timed element, you know, 20-minute reading, 30-minute, whatever you're comfortable with, or number of questions. And so
Mm.
you have that listing because it is helpful to be mindful that Etsy also wants to see product. They want to see listing.
All right, we got disconnected there, but we're back.
We are back.
Okay.
Um, so I hope I'm not over because of all the disconnects, but just understand that it is important to know how you wish to deliver it, and because that's going to drive your price. You have to also stay competitive. A lot of people on Etsy are offering love readings. Spice it up in a way that gets you excited about it and gets the client excited. I have one that's like called the time for heart to heart. Is it
Mm.
time for heart to heart? And then I created 6 questions. I don't even put a time element. It's just these 6 questions as standard. If you're booking that, I'm just going to copy and paste. These are going to be what we cover in your reading. And people, it takes a lot of guesswork out of their having to think up questions and stuff. So they purchase that, and that makes it fun, a little bit more fun for me than just a general reading. When will I find love?
Yeah.
I like to dig into some kind of issue or something you're trying to overcome. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
try to now tailor my love readings to that, and
Right.
I have fun with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and career readings too.
Yes. Well, speaking of career, I want to kind of, and we'll get back to this because I want to talk about Etsy versus the hotlines a little bit, but I want to, so you and I, one of the things that made, well, made me click with you immediately was we both come from corporate America. I just recently stopped working my corporate job, but you've been out a couple of years now, right? 2 or 3?
Yes, yes.
So talk about it's scary, right? Talk about that. Let's, because there might be people out there, they're like, I don't have time, but it's really what I want to do. And it just feels wrong, right? To quit a job. I know one of the things that I struggled with myself was, it's one thing to go to a job and you get paid because you go to the office and you spend that day at the office and you get paid for it. And now I have readings available, and now it's like you think like I'm taking people's money, and that
Yeah,
feels wrong. Like getting a paycheck feels fine, but
yeah,
when you feel like you're taking people's money, it feels wrong, and you have to change thinking like that to make that kind of switch. But what was it like for you?
that's
Yeah.
oh my goodness. Everything you're saying I relate to. Um, so for the longest time, like I think 2016, I was reading for people on the side for free. 2017 was when I got serious. And I was like, okay, I'm going to start a part-time reading business. And I did that alongside of my corporate job. And then I went to work for the state of California for a year before I made my great resignation, before I quit, like for good. um, so I did that for years, doing readings part-time in the evenings at late at night on weekends. And then the pandemic hit in 2020, and we got a chance to work from home. And see, working from home meant working on my tarot business. And that was kind of sacred to me. So then when my corporate job came home, or not my corporate job, my analyst job, I was an analyst, it just, everything collided. My kid was at home because they were, it's the pandemic. I'm working my 9 to 5 job, and then in the evenings, my business. I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And I had friends who passed away in their 40s, some in their 50s, 4 different close friends that I worked with for years passed away in a short window of time. And it just, with the pandemic and everything, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I have to see what it's like to support myself off what I love to do. And so the beginning, January of 2021, we had moved. We had sold all of our stuff, our home, everything, and moved to the Caribbean for a much lower cost of living because we're from California.
Yeah.
And so you're right. It's a total, I'm still, even though I quit at the end of 2020, and then we left like January 3rd or January 4th, 2021, we were like, out. We got the money from the house sale. My resignation had come to an end at the end of December 2020, and like literally we're off January. So, but it's a mind shift. You're right. I love what you said about how you have to shift from I'm getting a check. It feels different, different energy. I'm working, I'm earning this money versus, okay, now I need to get paid, but it's for me also a shift from going part-time to full-time and having to readjust how I look at it. This is my business. This is an exchange, a proper exchange of energy that I'm giving you a service of my soul.
Yeah.
That has value. And if I did this for free all the time, hint, hint, this is also for those who haven't gone pro yet, but you start to feel exhausted. You love giving readings, but you start to get really exhausted because there's not an even energy exchange. You love it, it drains you. How to adjust that, and this is how you know when it's time to adjust your prices upward, is you adjust it upward. You naturally, it's a different way of getting raises, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're intuitively called versus, oh, we've got our standard cost of living raise when you have an employer. Every year you get your performance review and you're probably going to get a raise.
Right.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Everything has to kind of change.
Yes.
It's not an overnight process.
For me, it makes the money I earn more sacred, right? Because I know that it's coming from someone, and for like when I get a paycheck, it's from the company. They'll be fine, right? But I know this person is probably giving me something that, could be used for, a night out with their partner, or it could be used to pay a bill maybe that they're putting off to get this service. So it's more precious, right? I really do take it very seriously, and I think it's really important to come across that way when you're selling your services, that you're taking this, you're not just taking their money, you're really giving them what the value that they need with it. And like you said, it's part of your soul. So I really get that. Now, I have to ask you, our situations for leaving corporate America were different. You started part-time.
Mm-hmm.
How many years did you do part-time?
I did part-time from 2017 until I'll say 2021, the start of when we came out here. And so for a good chunk, I would
Hmm.
say. It
Hmm.
was a good chunk of time that I
Right.
did it part-time.
Yeah, like I found out that I was going to lose my job the beginning of 2022,
Hmm.
but I had until the end of the year. And that's why I started with you, was because I knew I had to build something up so that when my job was gone, I'd have some kind of income, right?
Right.
So I worked part-time, we'll say, for a year. But I definitely think I would say, like, if you do have a corporate job, that it is important to really kind of build up your clientele, and maybe a website or an Etsy shop or whatever, your your platform is going to be,
That's
and
right.
establish some customers before stopping cold turkey, because it's,
That, yeah,
yeah,
it's about being realistic.
yeah,
Yeah, you can do this. This can be done, but I come from the cloth of being strategic and taking slow, deliberate steps. That's my comfort zone. Some people hit the ground running.
yeah.
They're,
God bless
on the hot lines. They're got their Etsy shop going, whatever they're doing. For me, I'm more cautious. So, you
I
know,
I have
be
another
realistic.
question.
Yes.
How did your partner, your husband, handle all this? Like, was he supportive? Was he like iffy? But because that's
Yeah,
important too. My
it
husband's
is.
very supportive, but he doesn't work. I'm
Yes.
I'm the only breadwinner, so that kind of has a little pressure. But how about you? What was it like for you?
Yes. So my husband has been supportive as well, supportive in the fact that I believe in what I do. I
Mhm.
believe in my spirituality and delivering readings and stuff. So he's been supportive there. When I came to him and I was like, I want to do this full time. Part time, not a problem. He almost probably looked at it like, oh, this is like her hobby thing. This is what brings her joy. Not realizing, and I wasn't even really fully realizing that someday I really want this to be full time.
Yeah.
So in September of 2020, I had reached a breaking point. I was like, I was depressed. I hated logging on to do my analyst work. I only derive joy from like
When
getting
you shut it
decks
off.
or yeah, when it was off, I was like, oh, I'm alive again. And it just my home didn't feel like a sanctuary anymore. So I told my husband, I'm like, I'm fed up. I want to do this full time. And I think I know how we're gonna do it. We're gonna sell everything. And he's like, but he had been working,
Wow.
he was an essential worker as a truck driver. So he was working like 70-hour work
Oh
weeks.
my
And
God.
between me, my full-time job and my business, I was working like probably 50 to 60 hours per week. We were tired. And so he was like, at first he was like, this is ludicrous. I don't think we should, this is crazy. Stop talking your crazy talk. And then he thought about it for 2 days and he came back, uh, why not? Let's do it. So I do have clients and friends who have maybe less supportive partners. There's still a way to navigate that and to meet each other in the middle with a comfort zone and
Hmm.
to grow slowly. Maybe that's what helped my husband feel solid about it.
Hmm.
I was able to show him I did this for part time. Here's what I make. Here's the potential that I can make,
Right.
in the future.
Hmm.
And so it made it a little more palatable for him,
Yeah.
So yeah, there's another perk to starting now and
Yeah.
working on your website, opening your Etsy shop, whatever it is you're called, like you said, whatever platform you're wishing to go on.
Yeah.
Start now.
Yes. Yeah. And if you don't have the support of a partner, it's going to be harder, much harder.
That's true.
I think we're both
It
very
is.
lucky in that respect. So
Exactly.
let's just talk a little bit um, about platforms, because in the beginning, if you remember, I was going to go for the hotlines. I'm thinking just bang out readings, get the bucks in, and make some money. while I set up, because I wanted to update my website and I had all these plans for a tarot course, which I still haven't done yet, but all these things I wanted to do, and that was just going to get me through it. And then versus like an Etsy shop, right?
Right, right.
And I ended up with Etsy, which I'm so glad, but there's pros and cons to each. But the reason I went with Etsy was, one is they do the marketing for you.
Yes.
And two, you don't really have to set up an established business. They do the
That's right.
tax collecting for you. All that stuff is done for you. And
Right.
I wasn't prepared to set up a business yet.
Right, right.
So that was the easiest, ended up being the best move for me. But talk about because you work both. So
Yes.
talk about like the difference in the clients and the platforms and how you make money and pros and cons and that kind of stuff.
Yes, there are definitely pros and cons to if you want to work the hotlines and go that direction. And there's definite pros and cons, undeniable pros, but cons nonetheless. And then you have Etsy or your website, or some people are, just leveraging their social media and going that route. I enjoy Etsy, like you said, because in their, they have their own Etsy search engine optimization program, marketing ads. Some people were like very upset about having to pay for the fees of marketing, like within the Etsy um, system or platform. I didn't mind it as long as I kept it under a certain percentage of my overall marketing cost per year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with it. I don't have to really think about it. My goal with Etsy and hotlines is to build enough repeat clientele that come to me whenever they have a question, whatever the question is, and they repeatedly come to me and they refer me out where I
Right.
don't have to do a lot of heavy lifting. That's the goal.
Yeah.
So that's also been my bread and butter where I haven't had to think about marketing. It's because I have repeat clients on both platforms, hotlines too. Hotline clients, they typically will ask more about love questions. I'm, person of interest. I need to know what's going on with this person. And some people, some readers, it's a turnoff. Like if you have 80% of your reading requests are on a hotline, love, it can become taxing. Um, but I do have clients who come on the hotlines for career, for spirituality. They're grieving.
Mm-hmm.
Something's going on that's not love related.
Mm-hmm.
That does happen. Big money can be earned on the hotlines if you are consistent. You could work 2, 3 hours a day consistently, finding your sweet spot of your time of day, and you could make a good living. You really could. I mean, it just depends on so many factors, but you could make a good living. But I like the mixture of having Etsy and me being the business owner in my website with clients coming through those ways. That feels good to me when I get burnt out on doing hotlines all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, sometimes I get burnt out of being I like to consider myself a high end type of reader for my clients and give them that first class experience. I get, that can get taxing too. So
Mm-hmm.
it's nice to swing over and get one and done kind of questions. Here's my question. Let's talk it out. Boom. Next one. With my clients on Etsy and my websites, that's a relationship I'm forming over time.
Right.
I'm their trusted reader
It's very
that they,
different.
yeah, very different. And I like both. Some people
Mm-hmm.
like this camp, some people like this camp, and some people are like me, hybrid.
Yeah. I used
But
to,
yeah.
years ago when I lived in New York and I had my tarot business going, before I moved out here to St. Louis, I did, and it was before, well, it was in the early 2000s, like 2005-ish. I did a lot of parties. And
Yes.
and by parties, I did some corporate parties, but those only came around Christmas time. But throughout the
Yes.
year, I did a lot of, I called them girly parties, where young women would hire, and my reputation, I was spreading like wildfire because people liked it. And I would go
Yes,
there and I would do these quick 5 to 10 minute depending on how many people were at the party.
that's right.
10, 15 minutes depending. And I actually had to put a cap on how many people I could do because
Yes,
it was so exhausting. Like
it
I
is.
remember leaving once and it was like I don't know, 45 minutes away from where I lived. And I had to pull over because I was so like exhausted from doing the drained. I was really drained. So yeah, that's the same kind of reading set. I
That's
imagine the
right.
hotlines. I never did the hotlines because I actually applied to one and they immediately dismissed me, rejected me.
Well,
Remember that?
yes, I do. I have my thoughts. They did that a lot because they actually closed down hiring, which is kind of a new thing
Yeah.
in our world. So when they reopen, you'll be a shoe in. That's all.
Thank you. Well, I might do it, I might not. What I really like to do is I like to do like the deep spiritual readings with people that help them,
Yes.
course out their lives. Whereas you're helping all these people that are really kind of looking for love. And like I said, they're both really important. And
Right.
it's like I can see like with all your YouTube videos and everything,
Yes.
that and your Mystery Mondays.
Oh,
So fun.
oh,
I
yes.
know. I
Doozy.
do. I really just think that everybody has their niche. And if you're worried that there's too many other readers out there, I am
Right.
telling you, there is no one just like you.
That's
And
right.
you're perfect for someone out there. It's kind of, there's someone, trust me, it's
That's
going to be
right.
fine. And you're not
That
stealing anyone's business because there's millions of people out there wanting readings. So
absolutely.
yeah, there's no competition. Just forget
No,
about that stuff. We got to help each other out and like we're doing right now. So
that's right.
kudos for that. All right,
That's
Kim, tell us about how your coaching, mentoring program works because, like I said, best investment I made into my business was hooking up with you.
oh, thank you.
Yes.
I'm so honored to be able to mentor. I like to look at it as like a mentorship. It's called Poised to Leap. I do it through Kofi. Kofi is like Patreon,
Mhm.
except more small time feel for me, like small business versus big business. Anywho, I I like to work closely with my Rebel Soul members, my moon dancers. So we work together throughout the month, trying to, tap into what it is that we're really called to do. Most of the folks I'm working with are going pro, whether they are going on the hotlines, whether they're starting up their website or Etsy shops, or whether they're deck creators that
Oh, yeah.
creating decks or writing books that are dealing with tarot. So I like to be able to give my members, I want to hold the space for them and give them tools. I record content that they need me to, record to discuss anything that's
Tons. How
related.
many hundreds of you have like over 100 videos now, right?
Yes, now I think it's just under 140 videos.
And
It's a
good
lot.
quality, like good stuff. We're talking real good stuff. All the stuff I needed to set up my Etsy shop. Anyway, I interrupted. Sorry.
No, 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 it's okay. You
Oh, and
reminded me that
I'm a
we have
rebel
a
soul, by the way.
yes.
I am a rebel
Amy,
soul.
yes, yes, right? You are a rebel
I
soul. Look
am.
at you, and so my rebel souls are my near and dear ones because we work the closest together, and it's important for me to hold space for those who either are questioning whether they should go professional or or questioning that next leg of their journey, and especially for those who are transitioning like we did. And I wanted to make it where we can do this together, and I really enjoy supporting those folks and not being like a mean coach or mentor, but
Not
just
at
gently
all.
reminding of what you said you wanted to do. And we've been doing that as our little community too. It's just been
Kim
great.
even keeps a project plan going. She takes
Yes.
I'm telling you, meticulous notes, and I find the recaps that you give after each of our calls are so valuable because they keep me in line,
Yes.
and the Google Doc with our plans set out. It really just all those little details and all the creative details and the inspiration. This is all fantastic. So, and the links are all going to be down in the comments. So if you're ready, you should definitely sign up. It's worth every penny.
Yes, thank you for saying that. Yeah, we have a great time, and we've formed quite a lovely, lovely community. And because of that, I've decided to keep the roles. Not, I have to probably cut it off at some point because I am fostering this special community, and also, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, now's a great opportunity to sign up with
Enjoy.
us.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
All right. So I guess that's about it. We wanted to keep it not too long, but I'm sure we went over already, but that's okay. I thank you again, Kim, for really taking the time out of your day to come and chat with me. I appreciate it. And I look forward to our one-on-one call coming soon next week.
Hey, me too. Thank you for having me.
All right. You have a great day.
Too.
Bye.
Bye.